All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do All-Star Superman issue number 2 from DC Comics by Grant Morrison, Frank Quietly. Not just, I know how I say it. Brilliant book, by the way. And this is all up between Lois and Superman, and this is fun. It's just fun. All right, let's go in the book. Uh, Clark revealed to her dad he is Superman, right? And she's not happy about it because she's trying to convince herself that, she was trying to figure out if Clark really was Superman, and then now he just revealed himself to her, right? She doesn't know what to make of it. And she says, "What happened to the big golden key?" I like that. It's a throwback to, the older comics. He says, what happened to it? Didn't think it was secure enough, and he grabs this very tiny key and he opens it. And so Super Robots comes in and he says, please bring Miss Lane's car into the garage and repair the slight damage to the engine block. And then she talks about Batman, that they are teaming up, right? And he said, how is he? Well, yeah, he's great. And Robin, yeah, great kid. I always wondered if I should have taken a partner. But then she says, no one could keep up. That key can be safe. And, well, he says, well, pick it up and try it. It's made of super dense dwarf star material and weighs 500,000 tons. I'm the only one on Earth who can lift it. That's the way I like it. All right. And he says, when you spend all day saving the world, you need something quiet to relax. And, well, looks a little bit different from, the Fortress of Solitude that I know. It looks more, it's not really empty, it's more open, right? Normally you see all these stalactites, and I believe that's how you say it, this from ice or crystals, that's not really in here. So I like that. It's different. But then she is making a journal about she cannot believe that she's here, right? And, does it have something to do with my birthday tomorrow? Is this where it all turns serious at last? And is this where Superman's girlfriend finally gets what she always wanted? When we married 15 years, when I'm sagging and he looks just the same, while he'd meet me and say things like, these are for you. I picked them up on Alpha Centauri 4. Or is he setting me up for another big joke? Fun. So she can't believe it, right? But then, he talks about this is a weapon room, but it looks like an art gallery, and this one is a kryptonite laser. Couldn't even hurt him, right? And then she says, "Don't you have ill effects from the bath in the heart of the sun?" Never better. Of course, he's lying because that's not true. He is dying, and I think he hasn't said it to her, right? Maybe that's probably the reason that he revealed himself to Lois, right? And he says, let me show you my new time telescope. Imagine I was able to contact my successors and enlist their aids to help prevent threats before they even occur. All right. So he has showed a message here, and this is, you barely can see it, but this is Superman 1 million from the 1 million series, right? And so, yeah, he's in somewhat contact with him. But he says this is what a big neck, by the way. He says this is a time capsule. It's not really a fortress. One day, some Superman or woman will open the door with the key. And when they do, I want him to know how it felt to live at the dawn of the age of superheroes, right? And then he shows more wonders. So he found around the orbit of Jupiter a baby sun eater. Now, that is also a nice throwback. I mean, the sun eater was once upon a time, it has to occur yet. What I'm trying to say is that in the future, with the Legion of Superheroes, the sun eater or a sun eater is a big threat to, the solar system, right? So I find it funny that, a sun eater, it's still even in this century, right? And he feeds them mini suns, miniature suns he creates from the cosmic anvil of New Olympus. And he just throws these mini suns at him. Pretty cool. But then, it was my fault the door was open. I know I wasn't supposed to see inside in that weird room, but I did. But then Superman comes to say, hey, Lois, you can't go everywhere. We're not here. This is closed off to you. Let's go to the genetic library, right? And talk about Brainiac shrinking ray, store samples of species. All right. We'll come back to that a little bit later. So they are eating in this, I believe this is the Titanic, right? And he comes in, he has a traditional Kryptonian formal wear from the Fourth Age. I made it myself. He says, I didn't know you could sew. I think I should learn. My trip to the sun did more than triple my strength. It tripled my curiosity, my imagination, my creativity. But she says, it also made you 3 times more honest. Is that what I'm supposed to believe? Spare me the suspense, Clark. Or Superman, when do Clark and Jimmy and Perry pop out the salt and pepper shakers and they yell, happy birthday. How about this? All the menu is actually from the Titanic. I picked the ingredients and prepared it myself. And he says, I am Clark, Lois. Aren't you happy your suspicions were right all along? But then she challenging him and said, why would I be happy? So she talks about something that happened with him in the past, about a story when Clark was a witness, and he says, well, it was Batman standing in for me. Or the time Clark presented you with the Metropolis Man of the Millennium Award, a robot. And it was all a ruse to protect you. You have to believe me, right? I swear I wouldn't lie to you. But then she says, but because if you were Clark, if Clark was secretly Superman or the other way around, if it was all a ruse, that would mean you'd be lying for me for years, wouldn't it? Why confide in me now, after all this time? And he says, I cannot tell you. Say what sucks conviction. You're acting very strangely, Superman, and I'm not sure I like it. So she's not taking it, she's walking away. It was the first time I really seen our whole freakish relationship in stark black and white. There's probably, a little bit not sure what's happening here, right? Why would he lie to me? And then he's speaking in the mirror of truth, but, Lois is typing this all down like some kind of a diary. I keep asking myself, what does this have to do with the creepy room he keeps disappearing to? These new powers, this new super intellect, what if they really changed him? What if something happened to his mind and he brought me here to be a part of some awful experiment he's planning in that room? How would I know? Superman asks him if they will, what's the question again? Oh, yeah. How can I tell her I only want us to have this time together because it may be our last? How can I spoil her birthday with the news that I'm dying? And then he walks away. And you know what would be worse? What if he's telling the truth? What if there really was some part of him that was bumbling oafish Clark Kent? I just don't know if I could live with that. She's really angry, but also a little bit paranoid, right? I have to be ready. I have to protect myself. I need a weapon just in case something happens. So she opens this door again and, hello, Cal Kent? And then there's this guy from the future. He is the unknown Superman of 4500 AD. He has also a question mark. And he says, you can ask me 3 questions. Superman, will Superman and I ever marry and have children? I need to know. But he's very vague, right? And, he says, what do you mean? Answer first, reception poor here. Listen carefully. Then the super robots comes in and say, something wrong, Miss Lane? And he asks, who was J-Lo? Jennifer Lopez. There was a thing back then. So he wants to know who Jennifer Lopez was. But she says to the robots, no, I'm fine. I don't need any help. Thank you. It's all making sense. What if it was really him transformed into a monster so awful he had to hide his face and lie about his deformity? She talks about this guy, right? Because he has bandages on. He knows I knows. I saw a vision of his own future in there. Whatever he's become, whatever lurches out of that room, I have to be ready for it. She's calling him and says, Superman, Superman. And if he brought me here to be a mother of a race of deformed superhuman horrors, he has to be stopped. God forgive me, he has to be stopped. So the door opens and she shoots him with the kryptonite gun. And she says, oh no, what have I done? And he says, well, this is an interesting way that he has now become immune to green kryptonite radiation. It tickles. So he explains to her, Robot 7 have data processing problems, it seems. He left the door lab open while I was synthesizing some alien chemicals. They can cause visual distortions and extreme paranoid reactions. That awful dissecting machine. And he says, no, that's just a sewing machine with diamond-tipped needles to weave light, indestructible thread. Sorry, I was keep disappearing, but I want to make you a birthday present. She says, what are you talking about? And she says, you almost spoiled the surprise, but you can come in. These new exogenes I've been making allow a human being to duplicate my powers for 24 hours. I was trying to keep it a secret like that identity of mine, but this is for you. And she cannot comprehend it. And he says, happy birthday, Lois Lane. And he gives her a super suit. Isn't this great? No punching robots or aliens or Luthor or Brainiac or Parasite or whoever villain, or even Doomsday. Just a good old-fashioned rom-com. Well, there's not really much comedy here except that she's going a little bit mental. But this was a fun one. I like it. I like it a lot. It's good storytelling. I don't like the short cape, by the way, but still, it's just minor. I think Superman would have a gigantic cape, just like in the movies or in other comics. But still, this is a great book. It's a fantastic storytelling. There's more is coming, guys. So, this is my video. I hope you like it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Leave a like. Leave a comment. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.